assured us that they are prepared.
On January the 6th, supporters of then US President Donald Trump stormed the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. and clashed with police, leaving 5 people dead and many others injured. Bloodshed and violence at the landmark of American politics stunned the world, exposing huge social disparities and piercing the fantasy of American-style democracy. On March 23rd, a large container ship ran aground at the Suez Canal and blocked the waterway. The flow of nearly 12% of world trade volume came to a halt. The world economy dipped this year. Logistics bottlenecks and soaring freight rates disrupted global supply chains as industrial chains suffered from chip shortages and rising commodity prices. Heavier debt, combined with an influx of liquidity, exacerbated the volatility of the financial markets. On May 15th, China's probe Tianwen-1 touched down on Mars, marking a pivotal step in China's planetary exploration of the solar system. Earlier in February, the Hope probe of the United Arab Emirates and NASA's Perseverance rover entered into the orbit of the planet. The 3 visitors set off a new upsurge in Mars research. On April 29th, China sent into space the core module Xinhua of its space station, kicking off a series of key launch missions to complete the station's construction. In June and October, 2 batches of Chinese tachonauts were on board the space station. On August 30th, US troops were completely pulled out of Afghanistan. The 20-year war Washington unilaterally launched ended in a big fiasco. US-led operations in Afghanistan left more than 30,000 civilians dead and turned roughly 11 million people into refugees, leaving Afghanistan in desperate need of stability and rehabilitation. Long-term wars and conflicts have taken a toll on people's livelihoods, with 3/4 of the Afghan population living below the poverty line. On October the 25th, Chinese President Xi Jinping delivered an important address commemorating the restoration of the People's Republic of China's lawful seat at the United Nations 50 years ago, calling for joint efforts to practice true multilateralism and promote the lasting and peaceful development of the world. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the CPC's founding. President Xi has been engaged in intensive cloud diplomacy to open up new prospects for the party's diplomatic work. Moscow suspended the operation of the Russian permanent mission to NATO on November the 1st in retaliation to the alliance's expulsion of 8 Russian diplomats. Sieged by a Cold War mentality, Washington and its allies gang up on Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his US counterpart Joe Biden met twice in 2021, but failed to improve bilateral ties significantly. On November 13th, COP26 concluded in Glasgow, Britain. A new global pact was signed to tackle climate change. Surging extreme weather events have sounded the climate alarm. In 2021, winter storms across the US caused blackouts in its energy-producing states. Heavy rainfalls inundated Asian cities. Devastating floods wreaked havoc in Central and Western Europe. The disasters caused by extreme weather highlighted the need to take immediate joint actions against climate change. On November the 16th, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his US counterpart Joe Biden held their first virtual meeting. The 2 heads of state had thorough and in-depth communication and exchanges on issues of strategic, overarching, and fundamental importance to the development of China-US relations, and on important issues of mutual interest. On December the 8th, Olaf Scholz was sworn in as Germany's new Federal Chancellor, taking the baton from his predecessor Angela Merkel, who retired after 16 years in office. Germany and the European Union have entered the post-Merkel era. At the time of Merkel's departure, the EU is beleaguered by mounting challenges. a stubborn COVID-19 resurgence, a tough economic recovery, the aftermath of Brexit, and a sluggish European integration process. As of December 28th, according to the World Health Organization, 8.6 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccine had been administered worldwide. While trying to overcome its own difficulties, China has provided a total of 2 billion doses of vaccines to the world by the year's end. The COVID virus has mutated at a frightening speed as variants including Delta and Omicron sprung up. To win a battle against the pandemic, there is a pressing need for all parties to work hand in hand to make vaccines a global public good and give full play to vaccines, medicines, and preventive measures.